Today is Tuesday, so I'll share today. But Wednesday I get a little bogged down because I that's my day to receive. Okay, um, so don't be upset if you don't see me on here, in the same way doing John. Okay, and if I look melancholy, it's because I am, because um those of the flesh are persecuting those of the spirit, and it's good to sharpen your sword. It's really good, but we got to do it in love. Okay, um because all the gifts work by love. Everything works by love. Okay, going to John chapter 8. And Yahuah, pardon me, and Yahusha went to the Mount of Olives. And at dawn he came again into the set apart place, and all the people were coming to him. And having sat down, he was teaching them. And the scribes and Perushim brought to him an Asha, which is a woman, seen breaking wedlock. And having set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this Asha was seen in the act of breaking wedlock. Now, pay attention. Verse 5 it says, And in the Torah, Moses, or Moshe, commanded us that such should be stoned. What then do you say? Now, they put the question forth as Torah. And so he's going to answer as Torah. And this they said, testing him, so that they might accuse him. But Yahusha, bending down, wrote on the ground with the finger, as though he did not hear. But as they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, He who is without sin among you, let him be the first to throw a stone at her. So they're throwing the book, the Torah, at her, right? And he says, if none of you among you of sin among you, who have, don't line up to the Torah, let him cast the first stone. And of course, there wasn't anyone that hadn't broke some part of Torah, right? And I've heard it taught recently that there wasn't anybody that hadn't broke Torah on this manner of this matter. And they explained that the way that you deal with someone who is caught in adultery or an act of adultery is very well lined out. And the way these guys brought this woman, they didn't bring her to the priest, and they didn't bring her accuser, eyewitnesses. They didn't bring the man. There's a lot of things that they didn't do right. So whether you look at it as, did they have sin in this matter because they didn't do it right, or if they had sin at all. Still, it preaches, guys. And then after he said, let him be the first to throw the stone at her, verse 8, and bending down again, he wrote on the ground some more. Okay? And when they heard it, being reproved by their conscience, it says by their conscience. So he was not reproving them each individually by writing down their sins. He would never do that, by the way. He sees you differently. He holds the law or righteousness up and lets you judge yourself. Went out one by one, beginning from the older one, unto the last. So the older you are, the wiser you are, the quicker you judge yourself, right? Because that's what happened. They judged themselves. And Yahushua was left alone, and the Ashia standing in the middle. And Yahushua straightened up, and seeing no one but the Ashia, said to her, Ashia, where are those accusers of yours? Did no one condemn you? And she said, no, Master. And Yahushua said to her, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Isn't that wonderful? That's what's going to happen, guys. Because he has taken an oath that we are his bride. That we may go through the fire. And we may experience the flood. But he's going to say, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. If you're a part of the bride. If you have been washed. If you've taken on his name. And you're trying to follow Torah. If you're trying to follow the 10 Commandments. And you're keeping love. One toward another. Thank you, Leighton, for coming on. Therefore, Therefore, Yahushua spoke to them again, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall by no means walk in darkness, but possess the light of life. So he knew we were going to be reading this later. It says, I am the light of the world. He is the beacon, right? Of the world. Follow me, and by no means walk in darkness. Okay, so, and by no means walk in darkness, but possessors of the life. What life? His life. He possesses our life, we possess his life. We are staked together. When he bore our sickness, when he bore our sinful flesh, when he bore our sinful blood and our bloodlines at the cross, we were staked together. And that's in Galatians, where it talks about we are staked to him and he is staked to us. So He is in a marriage covenant with us. So Yahushua, hi. So Yahushua will keep his promise. He will keep his promise that we are righteous in him. Just like he did to the woman caught in the adultery. But what else did it say? He is the beacon of light to the world. And he who follows that beacon, which is Yeshua, shall by no means walk in darkness. So you're not going to sin anymore. You're not going to walk around in sin anymore. You're not going to just do whatever you want to do. If you're actually in the beacon, do you think that his light is just anywhere? No. It's called his Torah for a reason. Messiah's Torah for a reason. You're not going to walk in darkness. You're not going to still be putting syringes in your arms. If you're following the beacon of light, which is Yahusha, which is Yeshua, Messiah. But you are going to possess the life of Christ, the life of Messiah, as he possesses your life. Verse 13. The Perushim therefore said to him, you bear witness about yourself. Your witness is not true. And Yahusha answered and said to them, even if I witness concerning myself, my witness is true. For I know where I came from and where I am going. But you do not know from where I came or where I go. You judge according to the flesh. I judge no one. Thank you, Tamar. I have been persecuted so much this week already, especially the weekend. And God has given me, Yahuah has given me what I need. So I am unconcerned if you think I am fake. I am not fake. I've had to dress like a Muslim because of persecution in 2019-20. And then I was able to come out. Because there was some things in my life that needed to line up to Torah. But I was told that Torah was not necessary. And many people are saying it now. And it's upsetting. Because some people are trying to convince people to break the laws of Torah, the instructions of Torah. So reading 15 again. You judge according to the flesh, but I judge no one. Why? He doesn't judge because he's just holding up the rod of righteousness and seeing if you measure. And you measure yourself, you go, ooh, I don't quite look like Messiah yet. Messiah is not quite in me yet, so I need to measure up to that That's what I need to measure up to. You judge yourself. And as you should. But you also have to remember that even when you don't measure up, that he's going to take his bride anyway, through the fire. And the fire will not burn you. It will only burn the things that don't measure up. And you're going to be just fine. Because you're not, I mean, it's painful, yeah, because you had attachment to things that you shouldn't have had attachment to. But you're going to be all right, because that wasn't who you was. Because you was who God says you was. Yahushua says you was. Your bride. You're the bride. He's the husband. And so when you measure up to the husband, when you measure up to the groom, that's the whole purpose. That's why you're going to go through tribulation. Tribulation is to make you measure up to the bride, to the rod, his Torah. And once you do, repent of what you've done wrong, and ask the Ruach to walk it out with you, and he will. Then the pangs are gone, and you can rejoice. For Messiah is formed in you. Okay, and that's Galatians chapter 4, verse 19. Going on, verse 13 again. Oh no, take that back. We're already down here to 15. Verse 16. But even if I do judge, my judgment is true, because I am not alone, but I and the Father who sent me. Verse 17. And in your Torah also it has been written that the witness of two men is true. So this witness of two, Yahuah speaks to me often about it. Sometimes he'll show me 222, or just two. And I know that there's going to be two witnesses, me and someone else, on behalf of something else, on behalf of a false witness, so that I will be able to respectfully reprimand someone. And unfortunately, it seems to be pastors' wives, even sometimes pastors, but most of the time the wives. It's unfortunate that's the case. But probably I was supposed to be a pastor's wife. And I chose wrong. I chose men that, well, my first husband, we did do a lot of things like that. We served in the ministry, in music, and in Sunday school, and even in nursing home ministry. And I do minister now by giving Bible studies out at the nursing homes. But I can tell you one thing. I've been deterred. I've been deterred a lot, both by my health and by others around me who, instead of raising a sister up, want to criticize. Guys, we need to be out there obeying the Great Commission, not fussing. Anyway, back to the two witnesses. That's what I'm there. The two witnesses that this happens at least once a year, where I know that God is going to send a trial. And it's not for my purpose, but for the purpose of bringing truth back into the matter. Verse 18. I am one who witnesses concerning myself, and the Father who sent me witnesses concerning myself. Well, there you go. There's two, right? And you know, there's a prophecy about two witnesses in the last days, right? Verse 19. Therefore they said to him, where is your father? Yahushua answered, you know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would have known my Father also. These words Yahushua spoke in the treasury. So he tells you where at in the temple he was. Teaching in the set apart place. So he's at the temple in the treasury when he says this. And no one laid hands on him because his hour had not yet come. Therefore, Yahushua said to them again, I am going away, and you shall seek me, and you shall, and you shall die in your sin. Where I go, you are unable to come. Why? Because they haven't received the righteousness of Yah, right? Verse 22. Then the Yehudim said, shall he kill himself? Because he says, where I go, we are unable to come. He did know that it was not in this realm, right? And he said to them, you are from below, and I am from above. Whoa. He right there called them devils. You are from this world, and I am not of this world. You know, we're not of this world. It tells you a lot. That their seed, their seed was not of this world, was not of heaven, was not of Yahuah. Therefore I say unto you that you shall die in your sins. For if you do not believe that I am He, you shall die in your sins. So they can be saved if they would only believe, right? Verse 25. Then they said to him, who are you? And Yahushua said to them, altogether that which I have even said to you, I have much to say and to judge concerning you. But he who sent me is true, and what I heard from him, these words I speak to the world. So he's prefacing whatever he's fixing to say with, this is not me speaking, this is my Father. Verse 27. They did not know that he spoke to them of the Father. Verse 28. So Yahushua said to them, when you lift up the Son of Man, or the son of Adam, then you shall know that I am he, and that I do none at all of myself, but as my Father taught me, these words I speak. Okay, right there. So what are we supposed to be doing? As our Father has taught us, right? As your Father teaches you. Not as a minister teaches you. And unfortunately, even me, if you don't hear it in the Word that I'm reading, don't believe the commentary. Believe the Word. And he who sent me is with me. In other words, he's saying the Father is standing here. Or if you want to believe correctly, you would believe that he is in him. The Father is in him. Because in Ephesians it says the fullness of the Godhead bodily was in Messiah. And he says, for I also do what pleases him. He's not alone. Are you alone? Or do you have your Messiah and your Father with you and in you and on you, looking down upon you and looking out of your eyes in you? Verse 30. As he was speaking these words, many believed in him. So Yahushua said to those Yehudim who believed him, if you stay in my word, you are truly my pupils, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him. So just knowing it is important, right? They answered him, we are the seed of Abraham and have been servants to no one at any time. How do you say you shall become free? Yahushua answered them, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone doing sin is a servant of sin. Yeah. And the servant does not stay in the house forever. A son stays forever. If then the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed. In other words, if you believe on Messiah and follow Messiah's light, you shall be free indeed. You shall not have to worry about judgment. Indeed. Ooh. It is early, but I feel like I am being saved by the words just as much as you are. Verse 37. Verse 37. I know that you are the seed of Abraham, but you seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. I speak what I have seen from my Father. Again, he's telling you that he speaks what he hears, right? And you do what you have heard from your father. Whoa. Now he's saying, my father is Yahuah and your father is Lucifer. So everybody is following their father. You may say, oh, I'm not. But everybody is following their father. If you say that Lucifer is not your father, then that's because you're following the correct God, the correct deity. But if you're speaking what Satan would speak, then you obviously have the wrong father. Verse 39. They answered and said to him, Abraham is our father. And Yahushua said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. So he admits that their seed was Abraham, right? But he says their works were not of Abraham. They weren't following him. Sorry for the long chapter, but I'd like to get through it. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has spoken to you the truth, which I heard from Elohim. Abraham did not do this. Verse 41. You do the works of your father. Then they said to him, he's saying Abraham would not do these works that you're doing, trying to kill me. Then they said to him, we were not born or whoring. We were not born or whoring. We have one Father, Elohim. Yahushua said to them, if Elohim were your father, you would love me. For I came from Elohim and am here. For I have not come of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not know what I say? Because you are unable to hear my word. You are of your father, the devil, and the desire of your father you wish to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and has not stood in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks the lies, he speaks of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I speak the truth, you do not believe me. Who of you proves me wrong concerning sin? And if I speak the truth, why do you not believe me? He who is of Elohim hears the word of Elohim. Therefore, you do not hear, because You are not of Elohim. And Yehudim, the Yehudim answered and said to him, do we not say well that you are a Shemirnan, Shemirnanite, and have a devil? So I don't know exactly what that word, but in Hebrew it's Shomeroni. A comment here. You know, a religious spirit, a Jezebel spirit, is a religious spirit. She worshipped in the temple, and Lucifer, Satan, worshipped in the temple of Yahuah. He knows the word, and he can trick you. If you're coming up against Messiah and his teachings, then your father is not Yahuah. Okay, verse 49. Yahusha answered, I do not have a demon, but I value my Father, and you do not value me. Wow, that's a mouthful. And that was verse 49. And I do not seek my own esteem. There is one who is seeking and is judging. So the Father is seeking us to honor him, and he is judging, right? But this also could mean that Satan is seeking, and he is also judging. Because it's crazy how Satan wanted the throne. He wants to rule and reign and judge. Not out of love and kindness. And he was not holy, so it didn't matter. But can you imagine? God, Yahuah, searches all of heaven. He could not find one that was able to open the seals. Not one. You know, he checked everyone, even halal, right? There was none that was able to open the seals, except Yahusha. And he's telling you that he was not coming to seek esteem or worship or glory, honor. That he wants it all to go back to the Father. He was not teaching in pride. He was bold, but not proud. He was meek and lowly. If you've ever seen him, you know that. He comes in quiet and gentle. You can totally miss him if you're not quiet and listening and putting every care to the side. You will miss him. I know. It took me 3 months of meditation on the name in order to see him the first time. Verse 51, truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone guards my word, he shall never see death at all. Okay, so again, this is where the Father speaks through him, because he says he only speaks what he hears the Father speak. And he only does what he hears the Father do. And so the Father speaking through him here. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone guards my word, he shall never see death at all. So, if you guard Torah, guard this Bible, which is, the whole thing is Torah, really. But the weird thing is, we'll hold on to the back of the book, but then when we look at Nazarites and we look at the Sabbath, and we look at his name, we profane his name all the day long, refuse to speak his name all the day long, choose to speak some other name besides his and pretend it's his all the day long. And we refuse to shut up and listen. Take time for him, guys. This world is a world of distraction. So when we get to the end, we're going to find out. So I'm supposedly supposed to be about a career and running around and crazy like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to please people. And then what in the end, when we haven't sat and really sat until we heard the Father speak, till we hear Yahushua walk, see Yahushua, because finally, see, it looks like the air shakes when he comes, because he's already there. The air shakes, the veil shakes, and reveals he's been there all along. But we just couldn't see him. So, it's been said, when your frequency changes, maybe the air isn't shaking, but maybe we are. Maybe we are suddenly saying, you are supreme. Yahuah, you are supreme. And nothing on this earth matters more than you. Right? If you're going to go through this month victorious, you will say, nothing matters more than Yahuah, Yahusha, and Torah, his word. Nothing matters more than the Ruach, the Spirit. Verse 51 again. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone guards my word, he shall never see death at all. That means not the first one or the second one. The Yehudim said to him, now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, and the prophets. In other words, the prophets died too. It doesn't say, it just says, and the prophets. And you say, if anyone guards my word, he shall never taste death at all. And you get greater, are you greater than our father Abraham, who died, and the prophet died, and the prophets died? Whom do you make yourself? Yahushua answered, if I esteem myself, my esteem is none at all. It is my Father who esteems me, of whom you say that he is your Elohim, and you have not known him, but I know him. And if I say I do not know him, I shall be like you. So be careful and don't say you're not of Yahuah, because you would be like them. It says, I would be like you, a liar. But I do know him, and I guard his word. Wait a second. Mashiach didn't bring a Torah of his own guard? He's guarding the Father's word? Verse 56. Your father Abraham, or Abraham, was glad that he should see my yom, or my day. And he saw it and did rejoice. The Yehudim therefore said to him, You are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Yahushua said to them, Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham came to be, I am. And then that's the regular translation, but there's an author's note here. Here, Yahushua said Yah. Concerning a blasphemy worthy of stoning. So what he said is, I say to you, before Abraham came to be, I am Yah. Verse 59. Therefore they picked up stones to throw at him. But Yahuah was hidden and went out of the set apart place. Now, if they're in the temple, how could they pick up stones in the temple to throw at him? I guess they went out to get stones. Going through the midst of them, and so passed by. So he just walked on by. That's a long read, but I would call this chapter what you see the Father do, and what you hear the Father speak. That should you speak and do. Um, Obviously, it's a long chapter, but John 8 is one of the best chapters I've read. I say that because in the light of go you therefore and preach the gospel. Because, how do you know? You can't teach everyone. You can't touch everyone. You can't pray for everyone. So how do you know which one the Spirit, the Ruach, is already working in? The one that He wants to do a work in? Yeshua, they were all healed, it says. But Yeshua, when He came to the pool of Bethesda, He only picked one person out that had been there for like 30 years. Or 15 years, maybe. I don't know. He was an older person that had been there a long time. He had to find someone who desperately needed Him. And that's what we have to find. Because I get encouraged when I think a brother and sister is returning to the name of Yah or to the Torah. And I find out I can't really help them because they're not really hungry enough yet. They're not the man beside the pool of Bethesda yet. They haven't given up hope that an angel will come and stir the water and they'll be able to get in the pool. When they've almost given up hope for an angel to pick them, then that's when they put their trust directly on the Father and on Messiah. And then you can help them. God bless you, King Tomar, for coming on and saying hi.